Hello and welcome back for a new review. Today we're going to take a look at the Super 7 cartoon Duke, which is a 3 3/4 O-ring figure. These are the figures that I grew up playing with O-ring, so it's pretty cool to have an O-ring figure to open up. I know that Hasbro had put out a couple, but I decided on the cartoon accurate Duke because I don't have one of those in my collection, so I figured it'd be pretty cool to take a look at that and see what it's all about. So looking at the packaging, it's got that classic explosion back with a picture of Duke as First Sergeant. I could tell right away the accessories are a little light, but they're cartoon accurate, so you can kind of understand that. I noticed when I'm looking at the side here, when you read the description of everything included, it says includes precision laser blaster and mind control headband. It kind of makes me wonder how much Super 7 knows about G.I. Joe, because that is not a precision laser blaster. That is the XLMR or XMLR A1 or A2, if I remember correctly. It was the experimental military laser rifle. So it actually had a name, which I guess they didn't realize. Then taking a look at the back, you've got the cross cell and the file card. File card looks to be a little bit dumbed down from your normal file card. A lot of pretty, important details, in my opinion, on the characters are missing. Like when you look at his languages that he speaks, they left out the Southeast Asia dialects, kind of alluding to his experience in Vietnam. Guess maybe they're getting away from that because it's the cartoon, but it's an 80s cartoon and it was kind of well established, but either way. And then, you could pause and read this, but I see it mentions Tiger Force. That's not what this character's about. It just kind of looks a little phoned in my opinion. But that's the packaging. It does look great, and most importantly, let's open the figure and see how he stacks up. Alright, so here is Duke out of package. Pretty sharp with the colors. Do like that. The green pants definitely pops against the boots and the shirt. So that's nice. Let's take a closer look at some of the details on this figure. So coming in on the head sculpt. Pretty good sculpt, I'd say. It's not bad at all. It's definitely got the cleft chin. Does give off that cartoon vibe. Pretty good there. One thing I don't like right off the bat is the whole head is painted. So if you ever had figures like that in the 80s, where maybe the helmet was molded in a plastic color and they'd paint the face, and then you'd always end up with like a chip on the nose or something like that. So not that this figure's going to see that kind of action, but I never really did care for a toy grade toy to have painted on skin tone for the face. So it does have that, as well as on the hands, but the original figure had that too. So again, putting your weapons in and out of the hands, you could end up chipping it. I'm not sure the durability of Super 7's paint, but just from past experiences, not one of my favorite features to see, especially on a 3 3/4 figure. But aside from that, the paint that is here is pretty good. The parachute badge is sharp. The buckle detail on his chest is very sharp. There's a little bit of slop on his left hand here. Came like that right out of the package, but no big deal. Hands are molded pretty well for grabbing the weapons. back up a little bit here. Paint on the belt, also really good. Where the paint is missing, and very quite notably, is on the rivets. Original G.I. Joes always had painted rivets, and this does not. As far as articulation goes, he's got pretty much 1983-84 articulation, because in 82 they were straight arms, so the swivel arm was added in 83. And then the swivel head was present up until 85 when they added the ball joint. Now, one thing I noticed, and this is, I think, poor design, is the swivel head, which is fine. But if you look at the figure, when you turn the head, and it's very tight, you could see it starts opening up right here along the side, ever so slightly, but it's only ever so slightly that I can actually turn the head, because it's, see here, when it's straight, it's closed, but when you start turning it, you could see the gap is opening up. So something in the design there was not accurate. You can see it's right there on the collar. It's splitting open, which means it's putting pressure on the chest and back piece to open up, because the neck is hitting something, which is why it's probably incredibly tight. But yeah, aside from that, the swivel arm, he's an O-ring figure, so he can swivel side to side and pivot forward and back. His legs go forward about 90, and his knee gets a 92. Joints are nice and tight. They are using the standard screws, so I do like to see that, even in the back of the figure. And the strap goes all the way around, which it didn't on the original Duke, if I remember correctly. I'm going to bring him in for a comparison next. Alright, so here they are side by side, the original Duke from the Real American Hero line. I believe this was 83 or 84. I do forget that. But side by side, height is pretty much identical, which is great. You could see what I'm talking about with the painted face on the Super 7 versus the molded in flesh plastic on the original, which I prefer, though like I said, the hands are painted on the original as well. Aside from that, though, you could see the color difference, you know, the muted colors of the original versus the more vibrant, cartoon accurate colors of the newer Super 7. Yes, and I was right about this detail of his bandolier that goes around him ending when it should have continued like it does on the Super 7. So that's a kudos to them. And that's the loadout that you see in comparison as well. The original Duke coming with a helmet, binoculars, machine gun, and backpack. This new one comes with the headband from the cartoon when he's held in Cobra's dungeon and forced to fight other opponents. I know they are making Ramar, which is probably a cool figure. I may pick that up. That was a great episode. I believe it was multi-part as well. But no paint details on the headband. I know it did glow green in the episode at times. There's a little bit of detail in it, but nothing is painted. As far as the XMLR is what it's supposed to be called, but they call it a precision laser rifle or laser gun. That looks good. It's got the cartoon accurate look, so that is nice. But it's a little light on the accessories, but again, with the cartoon one, it's a little bit more understandable. It is a very cool figure. It's put together with tight joints. I think the neck is an issue. It's not really a major issue for me. I'm not going to be really sitting on the floor playing with this guy left and right, but I could tell it is a design flaw with the head turning. But with the paint, This guy is going to look great on the shelf. Pretty cool figure from Super 7. It was $20 from BBTS. I guess that's somewhat reasonable in today's market. It's not breaking the bank, but it is a small figure with very, very few accessories. So your mileage may vary on that one. But aside from that, pretty cool figure from Super 7. Thanks for taking a look. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Till next time.